recorded.
Okay,
Hey.
guys. Hey, Katie.
Hello. Welcome, everyone. Katie Cavenagh, Ralph Havens here for you today. We are going to talk about finding out where you are stuck. And I feel like there's so many people right now who are seeing exactly where they are stuck and or are coming to the realization that things aren't exactly the way that they want them to be, but they can't seem to move forward. And they're hitting up against this almost invisible roadblock. So what is that roadblock and how do we get through it? So Ralph, welcome. It's so good to see you. Talk
Good
to
to
me
see
a
you.
little bit about what being stuck means.
Well, I think I can tell basically we've all been there, I think, where we know we can see the problem. And like if it's a health challenge, you know there's something that's going on in a certain muscle or a joint or a certain autoimmune condition or some sort of anxiety condition, or you know a lot about it. And you've probably tried a lot of different practitioners, and some of them have helped more than other ones. But so you can have a lot of data of like why you've got a problem, but it hasn't fixed it. And what I've experienced in my own life is you can actually heal. And the key is to find out what it is you're protecting yourself from. And it could be quite varied. Like I was talking to Katie off screen before about a very basically I had a severe leg pain, and I was limping really bad. And I went to my acupuncturist, and he's like, "What the heck happened?" And I said, "Well, my girlfriend, 10-year girlfriend, like wife, cheated on me, and she's leaving me." And it's like, we're not machines, and we get affected by stuff. And you can just imagine what my actual cells and my blood vessels and my organs look like on the inside dealing with that. And you could go to all the acupuncturists and all the chiropractors and all the massage therapists and other physical therapists. If they're going to work on joints and muscles and tendons in that leg, good luck with that, because you're protecting a deep pain. And it was connected to a lot of my past. So healing that mental, emotional, spiritual pain is what shifted a lot of stuff. And there's other examples of like when I couldn't run for 8 months, and after trying everything from the physical therapy route that I found and orthotics and everything, a therapist put her hand on my foot and said, "You have a problem with your heart. Your artery of your heart, your big aorta has some problems." And I was like, "What?" And she did 2 hours of sessions on it. Very gentle. I know those techniques now. And 2 days later, I was back to running. And so my body was protecting a physical pain. Another time I couldn't run for quite a while, for over a year, almost 2 years. And it was because fluoride. I was starting to drink fluoride water because Sandy had put fluoride in the water, and it affected me really bad. And turns out fluoride's a bad actor, and so you could go to, and I've been to all sorts of energy workers and Qigong and matrix energetics and IMT, and nobody could find it. They told me all these things that were wrong, but I had to find out that there was a toxin. So what I'm seeing with this is there's a reason if you've got a pattern, and even like if you keep just having concussions over and over again, or you keep having accidents. I used to have accidents all the time, and I had to clear a lot of deep victim stuff. And so we have, between Katie and I, we've studied a lot of these, like, how do you help somebody heal? And what we found, and what I would like people to truly get is you can heal. And if it can happen, it really can unhappen. You just got to find what it is you're protecting yourself from, and it can clear real fast. And we have a very good example of it. We've all probably a lot of us experience this. You have a big breakup, and or you have something, life's not going so well, but then all of a sudden you fall in love. Well, you look completely different. It's like you're 10 years younger, and it can happen in an instant. So healing can happen, and I think it's just a matter of finding out where you're stuck.
Yeah. And when we think about also being stuck, like or at least what I have tended to see is that we just kind of stop. We just stop everything and right in our tracks. And that's where we start to really lose focus, I think, and
Yeah.
find ourselves in that, for I guess for lack of a better term, find ourselves in victim mode because we either sometimes we procrastinate because we don't know what to do. We tell ourselves stories over and over and over, like, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do, therefore reinforcing that stuckness. And also, sometimes I think that we feel maybe overwhelmed when we're feeling like we don't know what to do or don't know what direction to go in, overwhelmed with the fact that there are so many choices and we don't know where to start. So when we are feeling that sense of being stuck or not being able to move, whether it's a physical, mental, emotional, energetic, spiritual thing, when we take the time, and again, right now, the energy of the eclipse, we're still feeling that, and we have Mercury retrograde coming up next week. This is the time to really go inside and to find out for yourself, well, where am I restricting the flow of energy moving through me? Where am I blocking myself off from potentially being able to receive what it is that I have asked for? Where am I only seeing my own perspective when it comes to moving through whatever experience we're going through in this moment? And when we shut ourselves off from receiving that energy, from receiving that guidance and that information, that's what that stuckness is. And a lot of times it lives within our bodies because we hold on to all of these old stories, this old emotional baggage that for whatever reason we don't want to let go of. Maybe it's comfortable, maybe we don't know who would be without it, maybe we're not willing to let it go. But when we hold on to these things, that's where the energy does become stuck. It becomes stagnant. It's not able to really move. And we know that emotions are just energy in motion, right? Emotion. And they need to flow through us in order for them to do what they need to do and to give us the wisdom that we need to receive from them and then, make their way. But when we hold on to them, they literally get stuck in our cells, in our bodies. And so this is where some like random pain comes from. Like, all of a sudden you wake up one day after a breakup and you can't walk, right? So it's our bodies holding on to something. And again, knees are about being stubborn and about moving forward. So again, according to Louise Hay in her book, You Can Heal Your Life. So kind of knowing a little bit about the body and knowing about where the body holds on to certain emotions. Again, for example, fear is held in the kidneys, grief is held in the lungs. So if you're noticing that there's stuckness or resistance or something going on in your body, and you're finding that everyone you go see in the medical field isn't necessarily able to assist you, then maybe it's time to start asking the question of, well, what am I thinking? Right? What are the dominant thought patterns that are running through my head? What do I tell myself about my body, about my ability to heal, about the way I'm constructing my life? Things like that. And when we start to dig a little bit deeper and do some of this introspection, that's where we find our patterns. That's where we find, like, oh, yeah, I am still holding on to something from 20 years ago, and that might be a cause of why my body is experiencing what it's experiencing. So, Ralph, I want to throw this back over to you because you have trained in basically in the medical field. You are a physical therapist, so you know a lot more about the body than I do. But can you just very briefly talk about how the body holds on to some of this energy in the cells and what we can do to start releasing things, even just on our own?
Yeah. So the idea with with this is the body is really, really smart. And that's the premise. It's the body's smart and your body's doing the best it can do. Even if you're on oxygen and you're in a wheelchair and you've got a past that is really sad, and it's like even that you're protecting yourself. Or even if you're smoking a lot of cigarettes, there's a reason for that. If you keep having accidents, there's a reason for it. if you keep having physical health challenges, you know, the autoimmune or the chronic fatigue, or there's a reason. And what we find is you're protecting yourself from something or some things. And it's in an order of protection. So like in my case, when my body couldn't run with the spasm in the leg, it was protecting me from an artery. Now in the osteopathic world, there's something called rule of the artery, which means the artery is supreme, and the body will do anything to protect an artery. It makes sense because, you know, if you blow out your artery, you're not going to live. So the body will protect you from that with spasm and compression and tightness, and maybe you can't run, but your arteries are a bit more protected. So there's a way that I have to go in and find that physical thing and to correct it. So you don't have to protect yourself from that, and then you can get on with having a pain in your leg. The body will protect you from mental and emotional anguish at a higher level, and spiritual pain at an even higher level. So a good example is, without too many details, but somebody came to see me years ago with a problem with the ankle, and kept falling numerous times a day, and had been to many people, many therapists, all sorts of people, and wouldn't even let me touch the ankle. And so I asked, okay, what happened back in the past? Because I knew there was a car wreck, and this person almost lost the ankle and foot. Like they were talking about amputation and botched surgeries and all sorts of stuff. So there was lots of emotional and mental pain. And so we went and found it where it was. And Katie and I both have this technique to go find it and clear it, not to understand it, not to talk about it, not to like get all the details, but just to go find it because it's stuck in the body, and then to truly let it go. And in that hour, this person let me touch her foot again. And then a week later, she came back and it didn't pop out at all. As far as I know, it never popped out again. I saw her for quite a while, and then she graduated. Another person came to see me with headaches and neck pain and back pain after a car wreck, and nothing was working. A couple of years of nothing working, and I found deep grief in her lungs. So this was a big spiritual pain, and we didn't talk about it. We didn't try to figure out all the details. I just went and did techniques to release this deep grief and sadness, and her headaches and neck pain and back pain went away. And she asked me, like, what was that? Like, how did that help after all this time? And then she told me, after I told her what it was, she told me who had died in her life, and it was sad and it was severe. And on her last day, she said she thought the reason she had the car wreck was to get this pain to come find me and clear it. And so this is just examples of, like, the body's really smart, and sometimes it's protecting you from a toxin. Sometimes it's protecting you from a physical condition. Sometimes it's protecting you from a mental, emotional, or spiritual pain. And if you're looking in the right place, you can heal it. If you're looking not in the right place, like if you're trying to fix some of those problems with a chiropractic adjustment because you think it's a joint that's out, but if the joint goes out every single week, you're looking in the wrong place. Or if it's you always have a tight neck and you got to keep getting a massage, it's not in the muscles. That's just the protection. So the key is to find where it is, and that's what we do. We do it in the group. We do it one-on-one, in person, online, and what you can do to start. This is a start. It's not the whole thing. We've studied for many years with lots of techniques and lots of training to find these things. One way you can start is just to and I'll put it into the comments. This is one process, so I don't want you to think this is the whole thing, but there's a way to go inside and find where some of this hurt is, and a way to go in and let it clear itself out without talking, without the story, without figuring it out. It's not talk therapy. And so I just got to emphasize that. And I got to also emphasize this is one small part to do this, but it can really make a big difference. And if it's the place that, where if you find the place that you're protecting yourself and clear it, you can have a profound influence, a profound change, even with one session. So I'll put it in the comments. It's ralphhavens.com/M4. We usually just give it to our people, our one-on-ones, and in our group, our atomic group. I want to give it today because a lot of people are suffering, and a lot of people, I see them hurting, and they're going to all these practitioners, but I can see it, and so many people are looking in the wrong place. So I'll put that in the comments, and And it's a way to go find it. I could tell you how to do it right now and all about it, but I think if you're really serious about it, you should go try it. Like actually read it, go through it. I think there might even be, I don't know if there's a video with it, but go give it a try. So I'll put it into the comments right now.
Yeah, I think it's so important that we remember that there's so many different techniques that you can use in order to free yourself energetically from what your body is holding on to. And I think too, it's important to remember also that you can do all the mindset work in the world, but if your body is still holding on to those stories or that energy, then you are still going to potentially be triggered and still have to do more work around whatever it is that you're holding on to. So when we think about, again, like all of this stuckness, when we think about, say, just for example, maybe you're stuck in your career. Notice when you think about what that is and how that's showing up in your life, notice how that feels inside of your body, because that's the clue. And most of us, actually, I think it would be safe to say probably at least 80% of people, at least, are very, very disconnected from their bodies. And this is, I think, why we feel so stuck all the time, is because we're trying to solve problems in our heads and we're trying to work things out in our heads, but that's not where the information is. That's where the stories are kept. And those stories that are kept up there, we reinforce through the way we feel about them over and over and over. So if you're thinking about how crappy your job is and how much you hate it and you know, how much money do you have to make? How hard do you have to hustle before you're out on the streets being homeless because, you're not getting paid enough? If that's what's constantly going through your head, that's what's constantly also going through your body. And that is what you are programming your cells with. This is why one of the reasons why we experience inflammation. The cells are holding on to something that is not conductive or conducive or congruent with optimal health. What we're holding on to is energy that's a lot more dense, energy that's telling the cells to behave in a different way than what they're supposed to be doing. So again, like maybe you're clearing out or you're producing too much cortisol or adrenaline, and then your body has to deal with all of that instead of being able to function properly. And the more that you hold on to these emotions that don't feel good, that are associated with these thoughts, your body is going to just be trained to have that response every single time that thought comes up. So what Ralph and I do, and what we do in the group with Leslie and Ilya as well, is we teach you how to go inside and to work with whatever is coming up for you. Because if you're not willing to recognize it, at least acknowledge what's going on, then the healing process isn't necessarily going to be as effective for you. When you're willing to go inside and when you're willing to be really honest with what it is that you're saying to yourself and being like, yeah, okay, I do have a really crappy thought pattern that's going on here, and that's all me. And it's my responsibility to change that around, even when I don't feel like I can. And I think that's really the trick, is doing the work even when you don't feel like it, or even when you don't think you can, because getting over that first hurdle of making that new choice, that's the hardest part. But once you do it once, and it's just like, the guy who ran the 4-minute mile, once it happens once, then you can do
Yeah.
it again. It becomes that energetic, that morpho field that, that somebody's done it before. So if you can do it for yourself once, you know that you can get yourself back there. And it's just doing it that first time, which is, as I said before, the hardest. And again, that's what we're here for. We help people to get over that first hurdle, and maybe even the second and third, because again, we're so detached from our bodies. We do not want to feel what is going on in there. But this is the only really true way to clear out this energy. You have to go in order to get out. You have to feel it to heal it. So having a little bit of guidance, at least that first time through, so that you're not feeling so alone, or you're not feeling discouraged. That's, I think, one of the best things that you can do for yourself, just to learn how to understand and acknowledge what's going on in your body.
Yeah, and and of course we have the one-on-one sessions both of us do online and in person, Connecticut and Bellingham, Washington. We have you covered from both ends of the coast. But but we have a way to go in there and do this in a group setting, and it's not a scary group setting, but it's a way to literally raise your hand and get some one-on-one time with us. So we do this every day during the week, and people do raise their hand, and we help them find where they're stuck and then clear it. And so and I've seen miracles that are just they just continue. One reason I think you and I do this all the time is it's just so fun to be in this space and to see so many changes. So yeah, so I put the links there. I got one of the processes, and again, it is one process we use, the one Katie just described. And there's other things to look for to see where you are stuck. Um, my main message is like, you can heal. You really can heal.
Yeah, we don't give our bodies enough credit. We don't give ourselves enough credit. The body is designed to heal itself. You get a cut, what happens? It heals, right? So it's same thing with broken bones. You break a bone, what happens? You don't move it, it heals.
And the
So
thing is, if it doesn't heal, like a cut, maybe it's a little old lady without good nutrition and dehydrated. Let's get her some good food and water, and then she heals. Or maybe it's somebody else and it's infected. So you got to get rid of the infection and it heals. Somebody else, they're diabetic and their blood sugar is all over the place. You get the blood sugar under control. So a cut can come in 5 different ways or more, and the key to heal it can be 5 different places. And if you're trying to work on mindset, and emotional stuff, it could help. But man, if you got a raging infection, how about we get rid of the infection? Or if your diet is so out of whack and your blood sugar is out of control, or some other block that's going on, it's like the key is to find where you're stuck, because there's a lot of great methods out there. It's just you want them working in the place where your key is.
yeah. And again, we're we're taught to believe something different, and we're taught to like leave our power with other people when it comes to our own health. So this really truly is a way to get in control of yourself, because nobody knows you better than you. Nobody knows your body better than you do. And so taking that step to become aware of what is going on in your body can be one of the most massive benefits to you, because once you start understanding what's going on in here, you can find ways to clear it immediately, and you can experience that shift like right away. We have seen some literal miracles happen with our clients and with these processes that we use of how to get this energy moving or to dissolve it, and how witnessing those shifts. I think that's one of the main reasons why we do what we do, because it's so fun to watch people experience those shifts, and to be the facilitator, to have them have that experience. It's so rewarding. And I think that the more that we're willing to be vulnerable with ourselves, and to also to ask for help, then I think we have a really good chance of moving this new consciousness forward, this consciousness of I am in control, and I do feel empowered to take my health back, and to take my life back, and to get out of my head and to get into my heart and experience what life is really all about, because we're here to enjoy the process. We're not here to be miserable because our bodies hurt, right?
That's so good. I put a few links in there of a success story and somebody that had a physical condition, but I gave her the process that Katie talked about because I wanted to show her how powerful she was, and she used it before I put my hands on to work on anything, and then she saw how fast her physical body could heal doing the process you described that I put in the comments. So that's my pitch to get you to go give that thing a try.
Yeah. And I think that's a good place to end. Guys, remember, just you're so powerful. And don't give your power away. Take it back for yourself. Understand how to use it. And we're here to help you remember just how powerful you are. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Let us know in the comments if there's anything we can help you with or what you found most valuable about today's podcast. And we will see you next time. So thank you
And
so much for joining us.
yes, and the world needs us. We're here. Our mission is to heal ourselves and heal our world. So please subscribe, share, help people out. Click like. It helps the message get out. So we're asking for your help with this mission that we're on. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you.